I'll be talking on angle recession glaucoma. I'll start with a case because it is not very uncommon to see this entity, and like you can see, as frequent as once a month, one case of trauma and with angle recession. This patient came to us, he was a 16-year-old male in 2009 with the chief complaints of decreased vision 1 month after injury with a tennis ball in the right eye. He also gave a history of trauma in the left eye in the early childhood, and on examination the right eye vision was finger counting 1 meter, the cornea was hazy, there were pupillary sphincter tears, pigments over the lens, cells and flare. Fundus view was hazy and intraocular pressure was 28 millimeter. In the left eye also he had given a history of trauma, so we examined him in a detail. The vision was 6/18, there was superior iridodialysis, the CD ratio was 0.5:1 and the intraocular pressure was 24. Gonioscopy, right eye was deferred. In the left eye there were broadening of the ciliary band and a lot of pigmentation in more than 180 degrees of the angle, and the treatment was started in the right eye for the control of intraocular pressure and inflammation, and anti-glaucoma drops were given in both eyes. After 2 to 3 months, this was the scenario. The pressures were 22 and 21, and this was after a year when both eyes had settled, but you can still see the sphincter tear, the AC was deep, and which was more in the left eye. So this was a very unusual case because generally like the angle recession glaucoma is unilateral, but this case incidentally was diagnosed and it was a bilateral case. And the gonioscopy other eye when performed after 6 months, that also had more than 180 degrees of angle recession. So basically he had angle recession glaucoma in both eyes. So this term was first described by Collins, and basically it is a common manifestation of ocular blunt trauma, and because of rupture of ciliary body face, there is a tear between the longitudinal and circular muscle fibers of the ciliary body. Angle recession post-trauma can be seen as frequent as 20 to 94% of the patients after blunt trauma can have some degree of angle recession. However, glaucoma develops only in 5 to 20% of the patients. That means most of the patients, when the angle recession is less than 180 degree, the prevalent incidence of glaucoma is very low. And long-term studies has shown that the long-term prevalence of angle closure glaucoma is 4 to 9%. Angle recession glaucoma is a misnomer because the glaucoma is not because of the angle recession, but it is because of the long-term changes, degenerative and proliferative changes in the trabecular meshwork. Also, these patients are genetically predisposed to have glaucoma because 50% of the patients with angle closure or angle recession glaucoma develop glaucomatous optic neuropathy in the other eye, also fellow uninjured eye. That is why it is very, very important to examine both the eyes. We already know about the pathophysiology, that it is because of the anterior to posterior axial compression and equatorial distension that it leads to the damage to the angle as well as damage to the other structures, intraocular structures, and when the trauma is very severe, then you can see 7 sites of tissue tear, and one should specifically look for these sites like zonular dialysis, retinal dialysis, choroidal rupture, and iridodialysis or zonular rupture. So all these I think signs are very, very important. There are 2 peaks of incidence at 1 year and 10 years. So it can occur as late as 10 years after trauma. So one has to regularly examine these patients over a period of time. Now coming to the clinical approach, one should do a thorough slit lamp examination and look for the clinical clues like in this patient sphincter tears or signs of hypema. And then iridodialysis, the patient may develop cataract or subluxated cataract or zonular dialysis. Angle recession may be masked initially due to the presence of concomitant hypema, and we generally defer gonioscopy at least for a month or 6 weeks post-trauma, and after that only we perform gonioscopy. So the gonioscopy should always be repeated in follow-up visits. It's a key to diagnosis. Angle recession glaucoma can only be diagnosed with a careful gonioscopic examination where you can see various changes in the angle, lot of pigment, this level spur becomes more wide because of the breakage of the iris processes. broadening of ciliary band and pigments. Also, dilated posterior segment examination is a must to see the signs of other signs like commotio, retina and all, because we see in most of these patients vision does not improve because of the posterior segment changes. The treatment is aimed at lowering intraocular pressure and in the acute stage controlling inflammation with steroids, and judicious use of steroid therapy with fast tapering to be done to prevent IOP rise because of the steroid response. So in the acute stage you tend to give aqueous suppressants, but in the chronic glaucoma you can choose any of these drugs. Prostaglandin analogs can be the preferred drugs in this scenario also. When the patient, when the pressure is not controlled on maximal medical therapy, then filtering surgery can be considered. However, the prognosis for filtering surgery is not so good in angle recession glaucoma. When the patient has multiple intraocular findings, and one may resort to the tube drainage implant surgery. However, one should keep in mind that there are other associated changes like zonular rupture or disturbance of the vitreous space, and when you implant tube in such cases, the tube has a capillary effect and it tends to draw vitreous from the posterior segment even through a small zonular dialysis. So one should be mentally prepared to deal with all kinds of complications. Keep vitrectomy ready when you are operating on a patient with trauma, as you may require it. So to take home message would be a thorough case history and careful gonioscopic evaluation is a must to diagnose angle recession, and evidence of angle recession indicates a need for medical or surgical intervention depending on the degree of damage. Like not all cases of angle closure, angle recession develops glaucoma. Only 2 to 9% patients develop, so that should be kept in mind. Don't keep patients unnecessarily on treatment, and it warrants careful yearly examination for the rest of the patient's life to enable early detection and late onset glaucoma, because it can develop as late as up to 10 years after trauma. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Sunita. Now we move to the glaucomatous cyclitic crisis and uveitic glaucoma that is going to be covered by Professor Omkar Srivastava.